Alright, so welcome back. We are talking about the Camry again, and we are going to take a closer look at the tires that I picked up. There's some pretty nice pieces of rubber, and they're actually not too bad of a price. So let's just haul one up here and take a quick look. Alright, so here's the tire. It is a Roadone Cavalry M. This one is 235/75 R15. That's going to get you pretty close to 29 inch. And it's got a pretty decent directional tread. Now I have a tendency to like these that have these directional claws that go up into another lug. Otherwise you get a lot of road noise off these fatter lug areas. It's like the other tires I have for like the Raider are MTRs, which work on that same concept to keep them relatively quiet for a mud terrain. But let's go back and talk about this company, Roadone. If you're not familiar with a lot of tires, which most people aren't, Roadone is a Chinese company that was 60% bought out by Pirelli. So what they ended up doing was putting all of Pirelli's technology into the Chinese factory. So essentially what you end up with Roadone tires is Pirelli technology made in China. So although getting everything made in China isn't necessarily the best for everything, unfortunately for my pocketbook, that's about all I can really afford. These are approximately $100 a tire, and you can't really find too many other MTs from a reputable company anywhere close to that. So let us go see how this thing appears to shove onto the car. Alright, so as you can see, we already got our spacer, and essentially what I did is I found these kind of spacers, but they're also bolt pattern changers. It's like I decided not to try to wedge the 4.5 onto the 115. So that's 115 and 114.3. So I decided to forego that and just get these changers. And since they are a pretty big bore, and we've got a pretty small bore there, I got these concentric rings to put on the back of the plate and to go over the hub to at least get this piece centered on the hub. That'll be one more piece out of the way that I don't necessarily have to mess around with. So, on the rear one, we are probably looking into extending our trailing arm. It's like when you raise some of these strut systems, you would have to raise that trailing arm the same 2 inches to make up for it. But I think I'm going to extend it a little bit and pretty much place the wheel a little bit further there so we can shove it under here. Because right now, we line up the tire and we're smacking into the main part of the car. So we can go, let's see, if we go like, what would be, that would be maybe 1/2 inch. So if we extend the trailing arms 1/2 inch, when we go and set it down, it'll rise up into the hole there. and with the way these radius are, it will push it slightly back. So that's what we're going to have to do on the rear. And on the front they fit up actually pretty decent. We got these mounted on. As you can see, it does have a decent amount of clearance, but I'm going to essentially just trim out to the maximum trim that we can, just to give us more room for bouncing, and then we'll find some sort of like fender flares or something to bolt on above it. And of course we'll come in through here and cut our bumper horn back. But all in all, this is looking to be pretty decent. So like, it's probably actually going to work out better having the spacer on there. So that means we'll get more turn before we run into internal body pieces. We'll just have to make sure we figure out some sort of limit on how far we can turn that thing. But this is starting to look like some piece of machinery here. I pretty much can't wait to get this thing rolled out into the daylight and take a look at where we're at. If we try to pan back a little bit, you can see just the sheer amount of rise that we got out of this thing. So we're looking at almost 2 inches of suspension plus about 2 or 3 inches of tire. So we're looking 4 to 5 inches of total lift, and it's quite a bit taller than the Crossfire now. So I am really happy with how this is turning out, and I'm currently working on creating a center cap to cover up in there. So hopefully that turns out halfway decent, and we'll have a pretty much finished product. So the big things is we're going to have to extend the arms and trim the fenders, and then we can take this thing for a test drive. Alright, so that's what it looks like with the center plate shoved in there. It's not too bad. Maybe we can get like a little Toyota sticker or something just for fun. But that should keep all the dirt and grime away from like the front spindle nut guys here. Try to keep it from getting too junked up. So that should be pretty much it. Hopefully these tires work out quite great. They look like it should be pretty good. And with a front wheel drive, one wheel wonder, we probably need that mud terrain just to get through normal terrain. But anyways, that's the gist of it. Those are our tires. And next time we are going to finish fitting them onto this car, and then we can see what else we want to do to this thing to have a little more fun. So anyways, thanks for stopping by and watching. We'll see y'all later.